Hello. Hi. Good evening. So, can we start? Hmm. Okay. Hmm. Brilliant. No. This is like this is taking too much energy out of my computer, man. My computer gets too hot. Like, yeah. So I think this is good one, and even we can do this one-on-one interviews also through this Google Meet. If the camera quality is good. For both of the people, we can simply sit down and talk. I told you, no, we need to create such kind of videos also. You can open your computer, you can open your camera there, I can open my camera here, and we can keep these two videos side by side, like uh, but it can be it can happen in Zoom, but I am not sure about Google. So yeah, that one would be really cool if we can. Yeah, but like this computer mine is having bit of trouble. Uh,
Hello.
Hi Sri.
Hi, Dilip. Yes, my boss called me. So I need
Okay.
to attend.
Okay. Okay. Hi Muthu, welcome.
Yeah, hi Dilip, hi Srikumar.
Hi, Muthu.
Yeah, வணக்கம்.
Vanakkam.
வணக்கம் எல்லாம் தமிழ்ல தான்.
So Shilpa told you'll join. So probably have you read this book called Think and Grow Rich?
I'll be back in 1 minute. I'll just get the book.
எனக்கு book படிக்கிறது இது இல்ல sir. Just I
So, see, your voice
I'm
is breaking. Your voice is breaking. Your voice is not very clear.
yeah. Okay, now
Uh, okay. Have you read this book?
இல்ல sir.
இல்லைங்களா ஒன்றும் ரீட் பண்ணலையா ஓகே ஸோ நாங்கள் வந்து இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா இது வரைக்கும் ஒரு இந்த புக்கு திஸ் புக் இஸ் லைக் கன்சிடர்ட் as ஒன் ஆஃப் தி most important book in terms of learning about in terms of investment, in terms of mindset of think and grow rich. This book name itself, Think and Grow Rich. சரிங்களா ஸோ we started this book few weeks back, and then we are doing it slowly. Every day we are reading
Okay.
as much as possible and discussing. படிக்கணுன்றதுக்காக படிக்கல, we are trying to understand and then give each of our examples, and then we are doing this book reading every day 7 o'clock. So we will take turns to read the pages. So this current session is being live telecasted in YouTube channel. So whoever wants to go and hear our reading session, they can hear it in the reading session, I mean YouTube itself.
Okay. சார் ஒரு 2 மினிட்ஸ் ஒரு கால் மட்டும் பேசிட்டு வந்துடுறேன்.
Sure, no problem.
Wait, Dilip, I'm back.
Okay, Sri, then we start reading.
Yes, sure.
Okay, yesterday after you left, we stopped somewhere. Where did we
Very big
stop?
chapter, huh?
Yeah, this is bit big chapter, that's why we um, yeah, so this is the place we left yesterday. You
Okay,
just
screen is not being shared, is it?
yeah, just a second. There are too many technicalities, I forget one or other in every day.
Okay. Actually, you've come a long way, I think. In technical skill.
Yeah,
Like,
somewhat.
growing.
Still I think we need to improvise a lot, because the even if we go live with the camera on, we need to have proper camera, proper stand and lighting, and then again we need to edit it properly, and then or if it is live telecasted, no need to edit, but if it is recorded and then shared in the YouTube, we need to have some editing techniques also. I am not sure how to do it in Adobe Premiere. So
Okay.
okay, so I need to learn that also.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start. Yesterday you just left one page before it. It just said Shilpa was reading about 10 major factors of leadership. One is unwavering courage, self-control, a keen sense of justice, definiteness of decision, definiteness of plans, the habit of doing more than paid, pleasing personality, sympathy and understanding, mastery of detail, willingness to assume full responsibility, and cooperation. So, this is the essence.
You're changing my mind. I was thinking of selling it
Yeah. But
because it
always,
was down by it reached lower circuit today.
okay.
So okay, hello, let's see.
No, but always I recommend you to follow. I mean, we should have the habit of reading the before before and all. I used to skip this business page, and we only read the newspaper in the first and middle and last page and all. But now I straight away go to the business page and read, and then come back to the other pages and relate what will impact the business, you know. So in that way, if you think right, like you would know that what kind of opportunities this Reliance Communication has. and what kind of business they do, and how much debt they have. Are they paying back? Are they creating more debts? In that way you can
Mm.
figure out that okay, this is a reliable investment or not. If it is not a reliable investment based on your analysis, I think you should sell. But if you think that is a good choice, you should keep it. So
True. True.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Okay. Okay, let me start again. Ability to get others to perform than they could possibly earn by their own efforts. Efficient leaders may, through their knowledge of their job and their magnetism of their personality, greatly increase the efficiency of others and induce them to render more service and better service than they could render without the leader's aid. Lack of imagination. Without imagination, leaders are incapable of meeting emergencies and of creating plans by which to guide their followers efficiently. Selfishness. Selfishness. Uh, Leaders who claim all the honor of the work of their followers are sure to be met by resentment. Great leaders claim none of the honors. They are content to see the honors when they are any go to their followers, because they know that most people will work harder for their uh, commendation and recognition than they will for money alone. I mean, this is very true because in the Rich Dad Poor Dad, he also gives the same example of
Mm.
you should money in itself does not have any value, but if you mix the money with some kind of emotional satisfaction for their job, they you can retain them for a longer period of time. The any guy who is uh, who's paid money but not the job satisfaction, means one day or other he will leave. So but the minute you give that job satisfaction, he is doing excellent in his job, and then you also push him to increase his
Mm.
skills and horizon. That way he will stay for a longer period of time as well. Okay.
True. True.
uh, what is this interference? What is this meaning, interference? I am not sure. Okay,
You
let's
can
read.
do the template. I will look it up. Once again.
Okay, okay. Followers do not respect any interpret leader.
Lack of restraint or lack of moderation,
Okay,
like
okay.
overindulgence or
Hmm,
thing.
hmm, 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 hmm.
Mm.
Followers do not respect any interpret leader. Moreover, interference is in any of its various forms destroys the endurance and vitality of all who indulge in it. Disloyalty. Perhaps this should have come at the head of the list. Disloyalty. Okay.
Mm.
Leaders who are not loyal to their trust and their associate who above and those below cannot long maintain their leadership. Disloyalty marks one as being less than the dust of the earth and brings down on one's head the contempt he or she deserves. Lack of loyalty is one of the major causes of failures in every walk of life. Overemphasis on the authority of leadership. Efficient leaders lead by encouraging and not by trying to instill fear in the hearts of their followers. Leaders who try to impress their followers with their authority come within the category of leadership by force. If the leaders are real leaders, they will have no need to advertise that fact except their conduct, their sympathy and understanding, fairness and a demonstration that they know their job. Overemphasis on title. Contempt leader requires no title to give them the respect of their followers. The individual who makes too much over his or her title generally has little else to emphasize. Okay. The doors to the office of real leaders are open to all who wish to enter, and their working quarters are free from formality or ostentation. Okay.
Mm.
So this guy
Yes, I
wrote.
think this list should be printed in big letters and
Yeah,
pasted on the office of every door of every government officer.
yeah.
Like
So I was.
they have every single one of these vices, man. They are
Yeah,
exactly, this guy could have written this after reading about these officers. I know this
yeah,
program is live on YouTube. I
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Okay, let them take action if anybody wants to take action.
No, 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 no. Nobody will have time to watch this and analyze this information, man. Trust
Hmm.
me. And but
No, nowadays
yeah,
people are slapping sedition cases left and right.
yeah, yeah. That is also one thing, man. But
This is the exact
my my my
character.
my my awe for this author is that, like, I kind of 100 years back, nearly 100 years back, he wrote about this, man. Like, can you imagine that? Nobody see in this maybe in the top MNC companies, corporate sectors, people
Hmm.
follow such in Google or Apple or Microsoft. People, the leaders, the CEOs may possess such qualities. Okay,
Hmm.
but imagine this guy wrote about these qualities 100 years back. So
So
probably,
apparently this thing is universal. These kind of
yeah,
problems with leaders
yeah,
is a universal constant.
exactly. So something, this is mind altering, I would say, because
Hmm.
these qualities are like, let me read one by one. Inability to organize details, unwillingness to render humble service, expectation. Okay, this is the tricky part. Expectation of pay for what they know instead
And
of
whom
what
they know.
who instead of what they do with which they know. Okay, okay. So fourth is fear of competition from followers. Fifth is lack of imagination. Sixth is selfishness, and seventh is intemperance,
Hmm.
intemperance, disloyalty, overemphasis on authority of leadership, overemphasis on title. So I guess if one possesses this, I mean, truly they can achieve the impossible things as a
Hmm.
team. I mean, definitely they can do it anywhere.
Definitely, definitely,
Mm.
definitely.
Okay, these are among the more common of the causes of failure in leadership. Any one of these faults is sufficient to induce failure. Study the list carefully if you aspire to leadership, and make sure that you are free of these faults. Some fertile fields in leadership will be which new leader again some fertile fields in which new leadership will be required. Before leaving this chapter, your attention is called to a few of the fertile fields in which there has been a decline of leadership, and in which the new type of leaders may find an abundance of opportunity. Okay, first, in the field of politics, there is a most insistent demand for new leaders, a demand which indicates nothing less than an emergency. The majority of politicians have seemingly become high grade legalized racketers.
Super.
Okay, so I guess it is universal again. Uh, they have increased taxes and debunched the machinery of industry and businesses until the people can no longer stand the burden. Second, the banking business is undergoing a reform. The leaders in this field have almost entirely lost the confidence of the public. Already the bankers have sensed the need of reform and they have begun it. Third, industry calls for new leaders. The old type of leaders thought and moved in terms of dividends instead of thinking and moving in terms of human equations.
Hmm.
Future leaders in industry to endure must regard themselves as quasi public officials whose duty is to manage their trust in such a way that it will work hardship on no individual or group of individuals. Okay, what is he saying here? I'm kind of missing the point. Uh, Industry calls for new leaders. Old type of leaders thought moved in terms of dividends. Uh, Instead of thinking and moving in terms of human equation, future leaders in industry to endure must regard themselves as quasi public officials whose duty is to manage their trust in in
This is
such a way that it will work hardship on no individual or group of individuals.
this is the fact which Marx failed to include in his or calculations, right? He
Okay.
didn't uh, he didn't calculate that capitalists would see the ills of the system and
Hmm.
would try to reform it, right? One of the
Yeah.
criticisms of Marx theory, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this point is exactly that, I think. So
Uh-huh.
the old type of leader who thinks of dividends and shares,
Hmm.
he doesn't think of care about the human beings. So the future leaders should not do that, and they should manage the work such that no individual or no one is harmed too much or exploited,
Hmm.
and it should be like people centric industry manager
Exactly.
leader. That is the kind of
Best
thing which can.
example is Tata's, man. Tata's are like these guys. I
Mm,
mean, I've been seeing them for last 10. Many people have been seeing them for many decades now.
mm,
But these guys are running parallel governments in their own
mm,
industry. So they could have been one of the richest people in our country and in Asia.
mm,
But they kind of make sure their employees are uh, well paid, taken
mm,
care, and they also contribute to the charitable causes in every way possible. And they
mm,
think
mm,
about new ways of uh, changing the you know direction of the our civilization altogether. Let's say
mm,
uh, electric vehicles or AI and many other things they are doing research as well. So
mm,
they are
mm,
truly leaders, I believe.
mm,
Okay, exploitation of working people is a thing of the past. Let the man or woman who aspires to leadership in the field of business, industry, and labor remember this. Fourth, religious leader of the future must give more attention to temporal needs of their followers in the solution of their present economic and personal problems, and less attention to the dead past and yet to be yet the born future. I mean, this is
but
also
this is a dig at Christianity, because
yeah,
it
yeah,
always talks about the second coming of the Christ,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
also it talks about the first Christ. So
yeah.
there is a gap of
I mean,
four
this is
thousand
this is
years.
also universal to uh, all religions, I guess. I mean, we yeah. I mean, it can be universal. People kind of you know they either dig about the future or past or the
Mm,
future, and they define people based on is various other
mm,
factors. So, and that should not be the case when it comes to leadership. That is what he's saying.
And he, in this case, he's like, he's telling religious leaders of the future.
Exactly,
So he's
exactly.
saying there is a field, in this field there is a place where new leadership will be required, and
Yes,
those who can fulfill it
yeah,
will achieve riches, I guess.
exactly, exactly.
There are some new age religious leaders, right, who have done this actually.
Hmm,
I don't
hmm.
want to name them, but
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's obvious.
Yes, yes, yes. So,
Hopefully there is this book.
huh?
Probably they read this book.
Yeah, exactly. They are. I mean, every corners of our country and as well as every part of the world, there are many religious leaders are realizing this, and they should renounce the old customs and move forward. I mean, redundant customs. I mean, what I'm saying is that redundant customs and move forward uh, uh, with the current need of the society and futuristic goals also. So yeah, okay. Fifth, in the uh, profession of law, medicine, and education, a new brand of leadership and to some extent uh, new leaders will become a necessity. This is especially true in the field of education. The leaders in the field must in the future find ways and means of teaching people how to apply the knowledge they receive in school. The educator must deal more with practice and less with theory. So this I think about this Elon Musk's new project. Uh, he invested a huge amount of money in a new form of learning. Man, I
Okay.
forgot. So that is not the normal school going learning, but Elon Musk invested in this education sector.
Okay.
I mean, you should read about it. His children also in that education system only.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the uh, app. I think it is X Prize, I guess. Um, yes, something like. Hmm.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll come back to that. So I think this is like new. I mean, if I talk about a new kind of education system, I always think about Norwegian education system. They don't give Norwegian and Japan kind of education system that in school childrens are not just made to mug up and reinvent the same wheel again and again. They are given a
No.
model more practical approach to education. Even in mathematics, science, they have a very different, altogether a different form of education system, which kind of creates more inventors, more scientists, Nobel laureates, etc., etc. So yeah. So anyway, the educators must deal more with practice and less with theory. New leaders will be required in the field of journalism. Newspaper of the future to be operated successfully must be discovered from the special privilege and relieved from the subsidy of advertising. They must cease to be organs of propaganda for the interest which patronize their advertising columns. The type of newspaper which publishes scandals and lewd pictures will eventually go in the way of all forces which debunks uh, debunks the human mind. So this is also true. These are but a few of the fields in which opportunities for new leaders and new brand of leadership are now available. The world is undergoing a rapid change. This means that media through which the changes in human habits are promoted must be adapted uh, to the changes. The media here described are the ones which more than any other determine the trend of civilization. The information to be described next about when and how to apply for a position in the net result of many years of experience during which thousands of men and women were helped to market their service effectively. It can therefore be relied upon as a sound and practical. Okay. So, Sri, would you like to continue?
Yeah, just 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay, somebody tried to join the session. I don't know who. Whether Shilpa.
Just 1 minute, Dilip.
Yeah, no issues, no issues. They did not automatically join. I was busy reading. I did not allow them to join. Auto admit has access to the site. Okay.
Go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll continue.
yeah, please.
Media through which services may be marketed.
Hmm.
Experience has proved that the following media offer the most direct and effective methods of bringing the buyer and seller of personal services together. Employment agency. Care must be taken to select only reputable agencies, the management of which can show adequate of satisfactory results.
Hmm.
There are comparatively few such agencies. Advertising in newspapers, trade journals, and magazines. Classified advertising may usually be relied upon to produce satisfactory results in the case of those who apply for clerical or ordinary salaried positions. Advertising is more desirable in the case of those who seek executive connections. The copy should be prepared by an expert who understands how to inject sufficient selling qualities to produce replies. Personal letters of application directed to particular firms or individuals most apt to need such services as are being offered. Letters should be neatly typed, always, and signed by hand with a bold signature. With the letter should be sent a complete brief or outline of the applicant's qualifications. Both the letter of application and the resume of experience or qualifications should be prepared by an expert or be of the same quality and appearance as one prepared by an expert. See instructions as to how information to be supplied. Application through personal acquaintances. When possible, the applicant should endeavor to approach prospective employers through some mutual acquaintance. This method of approach is particularly advantageous in the case of those who seek executive connections and do not wish to appear to be peddling themselves. Application in person. In some instances, it may be more effective the applicant offers personally his or her services to prospective employers, in which event a complete written statement of qualifications for the position should be presented because prospective employers often wish to discuss with with discuss with associates one's record. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is the about
Media.
how to get a job or how to market your personal services. So
Hmm.
in the previous one he's talking about this is the entire context is how to sell personal services.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
think this passage is relevant for the year in which he originally wrote this. I
Hmm.
guess the things have since evolved to include online advertising and online applications.
Hmm.
So this just gives you a basic idea, but the principles still remain still the same, I guess.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So I'll proceed.
Yeah.
Um, 8 musts for an effective resume. A resume should be prepared as carefully as a lawyer would prepare the brief of a case to be tried in court. Unless the applicant is experienced in the preparation of resumes, an expert should be consulted and hired for this purpose. Successful merchants employ men and women who understand the art and the psychology of advertising to present the merits of their merchandise. One who has personal services for sale should do the same. The following 8 items of information should appear in the resume. So this is like okay, I'll continue.
Yeah.
Education. One, education. State briefly but specifically what education you have had and in what subjects you specialized, giving the reasons for that specialization. Two, experience. If you had experience in connection with positions similar to the one you seek, describe it fully and state names and addresses of former employers. Be sure to bring out clearly any special experience you may have had which would equip you to fill the position you seek. Three, references. Practically every business firm desires to know all about the previous records, antecedents, etc. of prospective employees who seek positions of responsibility. Attach to your resume photostatic copies of letters from former employers, teachers under whom you studied, prominent people whose judgment may be relied upon. So, photograph. Attach to your resume a recent unmounted photograph of yourself. Number five, apply for a specific position. Avoid applying for a position without describing exactly what particular position you seek. Never ever apply for just a position. This indicates you lack specialized qualifications. Six, state your qualifications for the particular position for which you apply. Give full details as to the reason you believe you are qualified for the particular position you seek. This is the most important detail of your application. It will determine more than anything else what consideration you receive. Seven, offer to go work on probation. In the majority of instances, if you are determined to have the position for which you apply, it will be most effective if you offer to work for a week or a month or for a sufficient length of time to enable your prospective employer to judge your value without pay. This may appear to be a radical suggestion, but experience has proved that it seldom fails to win at least a trial. If you are sure of your qualifications, a trial is all you need. Incidentally, such an offer indicates that you have confidence in your ability to fill the positions you seek. It is most convincing if it is most convincing. If your offer is accepted and you make good, more than likely you will be paid for your probation period. Make clear the fact that your offer is based upon your confidence in your ability to fill the position, your confidence in your prospective employer's decision to employ you after trial, your determination to have the position you seek. Number eight.
Right. So I just want
Uh,
to add something here.
okay.
When I read this Rich Dad Poor Dad book in Robert Kiyosaki's book, so this two dads will be there. One dad is rich dad, one dad is poor dad. Both of them will be friends. Both the children will be friends, and they want to earn money. They would means they would be studying in a rich school. uh, they see other kids of having a luxurious life and compared to them, so they'll think that they will print their own money by they collect all the uh, uh, Colgate tubes, and they'll open it. Behind that there will be uh, metal in the Colgate tubes. So they will scrap it, and then they'll try to create coins, mint the coins out of it. When the rich dad sees this, he kind of admire their their dedication, but also he says if you do that, government will catch hold of you of printing coins. So I will teach you how to earn money. um, for initial period he offers them very less money, very less money of working in his shop. Then one day the poor dad's child asks, why are you paying us very less, pay us more. Then he tells him, I am not training you to be another employee, rather I am trying to make you as a owner. So if you want to learn that, from now on you will not get even that 50 cent also. I mean, hereafter you have to work for me for free. Rather than you will not be treated as an employee, but you will be taught in terms of various other leadership qualities and etc. So I believe that this is one of the most important concept. Like if you are very determined of something to learn, you should learn it for free. I mean, you should learn some from somebody who already acquired knowledge for free working for them, and then after a point of time you could earn by yourself if you have acquired that knowledge. That is something I kind of recalled from this statement you just read. And yeah. mm,
Nice.
yes.
Continue.
Yeah, please, please.
Number 8, knowledge of your prospective employer's business. Before applying for a position, do sufficient research in connection with the business to familiarize yourself thoroughly with that business and indicate in your resume the knowledge you have acquired in this field. This will be impressive as it will indicate that you have imagination and the real interest in the position you seek. Remember that it is not the lawyer who knows the most law, but the one who prepares the best case who wins. If your case is properly prepared and presented, your victory will have been more than half won at the outset. Do not be afraid of making your resume too long. Employers are just as much interested in purchasing the services of a well qualified applicants as you are in securing employment. In fact, the success of most employers is due mainly to their ability to select well qualified lieutenants. They want all the information available. Remember another thing, neatness and care in the painstaking preparation of your resume neatness and care in the preparation of your resume will indicate that you are a painstaking person. I have helped to prepare resumes for clients which are so striking and out of the ordinary that they resulted in the employment of the applicant without a personal interview. When your resume has been completed, have it neatly bound and printed by an experienced printer. Its cover should appear similar to the following: resume of Robert K. Smith applying for the position of assistant manager at the blank company incorporated. This personal touch is sure to command attention. Have your resume neatly typed or printed on the finest paper you can obtain and then suitably bound or placed in an appropriate presentation folder. The cover should, of course, be changed and the proper firm name and job title inserted if it is to be shown to be to more than one company. Your photograph should be pasted or printed on one of the pages of your resume. Follow these instructions to the letter, improving upon them wherever your imagination suggests. Successful salespeople groom themselves with care. They understand that first impressions are lasting. Your resume is your sales representative. Give it a good suit of clothes so it will stand out in bold contrast to anything your prospective employer ever saw in the way of an application for a position. If the position you seek is worth having, it is worth going after with care. Moreover, if you sell yourself to employers in a manner that impresses them with your individuality, you may very well receive more money for your services from the very start than you would if you applied for employment in the usual way. If you seek employment through an employment agency, make sure they use copies of your resume or produce and provide one that meet all the above criteria in marketing your services. This will help to gain preference for you both with the agency and prospective employers. So this part, I think we have since it's been 100 years,
Hmm.
so there's a little change in that thing. But the basic idea behind it remains the same. There should
Yeah,
be due
yeah,
diligence and
yeah,
care, and
yeah.
there is a new way to prepare a resume and give it nowadays with online
Exactly, yeah,
facilities.
exactly. But
But
you
the
know, the
same
guy
amount of
who is
care should be
who
given.
just finished education,
Hmm.
who just finished their undergrad or masters, if they read this, no, they would. It is better than career guidance orientation in their colleges. This 2 pages, no, it is better than that, I guess. So
Yes, the
whatever he
principles
say,
of the care and concern which he says,
yeah,
they're universal.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah, I
Even if
heard from the college students saying they're giving special training to prepare resume for LinkedIn as well. That
Hmm.
is each and every place, no, of
Hmm.
placements, they have to modify their resumes, it seems, accordingly.
Hmm.
So
So
that's
true.
nice.
yes,
So,
the colleges are having this resume training class. I think many
hmm.
colleges are having how to
Yeah.
prepare, and probably they should include this.
Yeah,
Exactly,
exactly.
exactly. So
Okay.
sometimes the students does not know they just prepare because the people are saying it, but here he gives the reason why you should prepare like this. So I think that would completely change the way
Hmm,
they prepare.
true.
So yeah, yeah. Continue.
Uh, How to get the exact position you desire? Everyone enjoys doing the kind of work for which they are best suited. An artist loves to paint with paints, a craftsman with his or her hands, a writer loves to write. Those with less definite talents have their preference for certain fields of business or industry. If America does anything well, it offers a full range of occupations, from tilling the soil and manufacturing to marketing, commerce, and the professions. Here are 7 actions to take to guarantee yourself the exact position you wish. First, decide and define briefly in writing exactly what kind of job you desire. If the job does not already exist, perhaps you can create it. Second, choose the specific company or the specific individual for whom you wish to work. Third, study your prospective employer as to policies, personnel, and chances of advancement. Fourth, the analysis of yourself, your talents and capabilities, figure what you can offer and plan ways and means of giving advantages, services, developments, and ideas that you believe you can successfully deliver. Fifth, forget about a job. Forget whether or not there is an opening. Forget the usual routine of have you got a job for me? Concentrate on what you can give. Sixth, once you have your plan in mind, arrange with an experienced writer to put it on paper in neat form and in full detail. Seventh, present it to the proper person with authority and he or she will do the rest. Every company is looking for people who can give something of value, whether it be ideas, services, or connections. Every company has room for the individual who has a definite plan of action, which is to the advantage of that company. So,
Hmm.
this part is very interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting for me. Particularly whenever I am thinking to go up in the ladder of private sectors, I kind of think that these are the important points I should keep in mind. That aspire to go in the ladder, go up in the ladder.
Mhm.
Yeah,
True.
yeah,
When I was thinking about some private sector jobs, so yeah, very interesting topic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this point about fifth point, I find it really interesting. Forget
Mm,
about a job, forget whether or not there is an
exactly.
opening. Forget the
Mm,
usual routine of have you got a job for me and
mm,
concentrate on what you can give.
exactly.
So if you can, then the next point, seventh point, so that says that every company has room for the individual was a definite plan of action, which is an advantage to that company.
Mm,
And that one more point, the first point, which ends with perhaps you can create it if the job does not exist.
exist at all.
So these 3 points tie together. So if there's a
Mm,
company is always interested in building itself up.
mm,
And if there is no job opening, maybe you can help the company build itself up, and you have now created a job
yeah.
for yourself.
Mm,
So I could just tie together these points.
true,
I
true,
find it
true.
very interesting. Okay,
Mm,
I'll just finish this.
yeah.
This line of procedure may take a few days or weeks of extra time, but the difference in income, in advancement, and in gaining recognition will save years of hard work at small pay. It has many advantages. The main one being that it will often save from 1 to 5 years' time in reaching a chosen goal. Every person who starts or gets in halfway up the ladder does so by deliberate and careful planning, excepting, of course, the boss kid.
Mm,
Okay.
Mhm.
okay.
They are more than
Yeah. Shilpa, would you like to continue?
yeah. The new way to market services. Jobs are now partnerships. Men and women who market their services to best advantage in the future must recognize the stupendous change which has taken place in connection with the relationship between employer and employee. In the future, the golden rule, not the rule of gold, will be the dominating factor in the marketing of merchandise as well as personal services. The future relationship between employers and their employees will be more in the nature of a partnership consisting of the employer, employee, public they serve. This new way of marketing personal services is called new for many reasons. First, both the employer and the employee of the future will be considered as fellow employees, whose business it will be to serve the public efficiently. In times past, employers and employees have bartered among themselves, driving the best bargains they could with one another, not considering that in the final analysis they were in reality bargaining at the expense of the third party, the public they shared. The real employer of the future will be the public. This should be kept uppermost in mind by every person seeking to market personal services effectively. How times have changed. That is just the point I'm trying to emphasize. Times have changed. Moreover, the change is reflected in all occupations and all walks of life as well. The public be damned policy is now past. It has been supplanted by the we are obliquely at your service serve policy. Courtesy and service are the watchwords of merchandising today, and they apply to the person who is marketing personal services even more directly than to the employer whom he or she serves, because in the final analysis, both the employer and the employee are employed by the public they serve. Wow,
Hmm.
that's good point. If they fail to serve well, they pay by the loss of their privilege of serving. During the
Come
depression,
again, come again. If they
yeah,
fail to serve well,
if they fail to serve well, they pay by the loss of their privilege of serving. Correct? No,
yes, yes,
services comes first, right? Customer is, uh, what Gandhi has said,
uh,
customer is the first prior service.
yes, yes.
And this rule is nice, no? New change.
Hmm.
Where public also comes in place. Like
Hmm.
we are having an IPO
Hmm.
coming up, right?
Yes, yes,
Where
yes.
they want to make it open to public as well.
Yeah, yes.
That's
Talking about LIC IPO.
yeah.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
people are waiting for it,
Uh,
right?
okay, okay. Hmm.
During the Depression, I spent several months in the anthracite coal region of Pennsylvania, studying conditions which all but destroyed the coal industry. Among
Hmm.
several very significant discoveries was the fact that greed on the part of operators and their employees was the chief cause of the loss of business for the
Hmm.
operators and loss of jobs for the miners.
Hmm.
Okay. Through the pressure of a group of overzealous labor leaders representing the employees and the greed for profits on the part of the operators, the anthracite business suddenly dwindled. The
Hmm.
coal operators and their employees drove sharp bargains with one another, adding the cost of the bargaining to the price of the coal until finally they discovered that they had built up a wonderful business for the manufacturers of oil burning outfits and the producers of crude oil.
Hmm.
The wages of sin is death. Many have read this in the Bible, but few have discovered its meaning. Now and for several years, America and the world have been listening to a sermon which might well be called Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Nothing as widespread as the depressed economic times we have lived through could possibly be just a coincidence. Behind it all there was a cause. Nothing ever happens without a cause. In the main, the cause here is traceable directly to the economic habit of trying to reap without sowing. This should not be mistaken to mean that these tough economic times represent a crop which we are being forced to reap without having sown. The trouble is that we sowed the wrong sort of seed. All farmers know they cannot sow the seed of thistles and reap a harvest of grain. For a very long period, the people of America and some other lands began to sow the seed of service which was inadequate in both quality and quantity. Nearly everyone was engaged in the pastime of trying to get without giving. This whole issue is brought to the attention of those who have personal services to market to show that we are where we are and what we are because of our own conduct. If there is a principle of cause and effect which controls business, finance, and transportation, the same principle controls individuals and determines their economic status.
Okay, what is he saying here in this previous
They are saying that any
slide?
business cannot survive without giving back.
Hmm.
If so, it fails
Hmm.
as soon as it falls under depression.
Hmm.
So that's
Okay.
nice point. They have given example that coal and mining.
Hmm. What did he? What example is that?
The coal, they were actually, there is a company
Mm-hmm.
they have mentioned in this, the coal anthracite, where that has been digged in Peninsula area.
Hmm. Yes.
But sooner it got under depression because of the greed of the employees.
Hmm. Hmm.
They
Hmm.
had a greed and they lost because of the greed. They say this as a sin. The loss
Hmm.
of jobs for the miners is because
Hmm.
they are sin to be greed on what they got.
Hmm.
So rather they say that they want to give back
Hmm.
what they get
Okay. Okay.
to survive in the market.
Hmm.
That's what they say services here.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Please continue. Thank you.
What is your QQS rating? The causes of success in marketing services effectively and permanently have been clearly described. Unless those causes are studied, analyzed, understood, and applied, no one can market personal services effectively and permanently. Every individual must sell his or her services. The quality and quantity of service rendered and the spirit in which it is rendered determine to a large extent the price and the duration of employment. To market personal services effectively, which means a permanent marker at a satisfactory price under pleasant conditions, one must adopt and follow the QQS formula. Q quality plus Q quantity plus the proper spirit S of corporation equals perfect salesmanship of service. Remember the QQS formula, but do more apply it as a habit. Wow, that's nice formula. Quality, quantity, spirit.
Yes.
Let us analyze the formula to make sure we understand exactly what it means. Quality. Quality of service shall be construed to mean the performance of every detail in connection with your position in the most efficient manner possible, with the object of greater efficiency always in mind. So, quality, they say, is our service, right?
Yes.
Our performance
Hmm.
level. Quantity, quantity of service shall be understood to mean the habit of rendering all the service. Means the habit of rendering all the services of which you are capable at all times, with the purpose of increasing the amount of service rendered as greater skill is developed through practice and experience. Emphasis is again placed on the word habit. Yeah, this we can give example, this ICF factory.
Hmm.
Third one is spirit.
Hmm.
Spirit of service shall be construed to mean the habit of agreeable, harmonious conduct, which will induce cooperation from associates and fellow employees. Adequacy of quality and quantity of service is not sufficient to maintain a permanent market for your services. The conduct or the spirit in which you deliver the services is a strong determining factor in connection with both the price you receive and the duration of your employment. Andrew Carnegie stressed this point more than others in connection with his description of the factors which led to success in marketing of personal services.
Can you
He
come back again?
emphasized,
Can you come back again? The
yeah,
conduct or
Andrew Carnegie stressed this point more than
which
others in
point?
connection. This Andrew, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, which point he gave the importance?
Yeah, the spirit. He is saying that quality, quantity alone is not sufficient to market your product,
Hmm.
I mean
Hmm.
services.
Hmm.
So the conduct is most important. I think we read this right in previous chapters
Yeah.
where he
Yeah.
mentioned this
Mm-hmm.
for personal branding and marketing.
Okay. Okay.
He emphasized again and again the necessity of harmonious conduct. He stressed the fact that he would not retain any person, no matter how great a quantity or how efficient the quality of that person's work, unless the individual worked in a spirit of harmony. Wow, that's fantastic. He must be HR, I think, in our Indian companies.
No, no.
He
I
plays
think
our candidates well.
I think he's a true leader. People may retain nowadays just because he is having some recommendation or qualification, but he is saying that he needs to possess that spirit or harmony within himself to come beyond his. We call in this private sector something called KRA. Means in private sector they give you KRA, that is your job description.
Okay.
You should perform that KRA, key
Yeah.
role your key role and
Analysis.
responsibilities, I guess.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here the person who is having that spirit of contributing will go beyond his KRA to make that company to contribute for that company or objective of the company or mission of the company. So, but the person who is simply possessing the qualification or quantity or quality, he may not he may not contribute in such a way that the guy who is possessing that
Beyond,
spirit, right? Like that
yeah,
is very true.
beyond the limit.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Very, very
Mr.
nice.
Carney insisted upon people being agreeable. To prove that he placed a high value upon this quality, he permitted many individuals who conformed to his standards to become very wealthy. Those who did not conform had to make room for others. The importance of pleasing personality has been stressed because it is a factor which enables one to render services in the proper spirit. If one has a personality which pleases and renders services in a spirit of harmony, these assets often make up for deficiencies in both the quality and quantity of service one renders. Nothing, however, can be successfully substituted for pleasing conduct. Wow, that's nice. As you said, the quality or quantity can be trained, but
Yeah.
this factor harmony cannot be. It has to come within.
Hmm.
That's nice. It's a morality, right?
Yes, yes, yes. So, guys, do you want to continue or can we stop here because this is a never ending chapter? It is.
It's going still 48 pages.
Yeah. It is actually, it
I
is
think it
too.
should be enough for today, no? At 8:30.
Huh?
I think we can wind up for today, no?
Yes, we can wind
Yeah,
up
can
for
you
that.
just tell me what happened before I joined? Like from that resume I joined, what was before that? Can you just say just
Yeah, you left at the. We left yesterday. Where did we leave?
10 point, right? Yeah.
Yeah, this major 10 major causes of failure. This is where we left yesterday.
Yes, correct.
So what he says is that there are, you know, as much as you should know what to do, you should know also what not to do. So that is very important, and in this he gives 10 or 11 important 10, I guess 10 important concepts where a leader who should not have this kind of qualities. So the one is inability to organize in details and unwillingness to render humble service,
Okay.
and another is that expectation of pay of for what they know. Just because you know something you should not expect, rather than
Okay.
that you should perform, and you will get paid eventually if you perform well. So that is
Perfect.
what he is saying. And
Fine.
fourth is fear of competition from your followers. A leader should not be feared of his followers. Instead, he should make them equal leaders. Uh, so lack of imagination and
Selfishness.
selfishness, and next is that interference. That is, a leader should not over indulge in the followers. Rather, he should give space to the followers. Disloyalty, like leaders should not be disloyal to his own followers, and
Okay.
overemphasis on the authority of leadership, like just because you are put in a managerial position or a leadership position, you should not just brag about that you are a leader. And 10th is that overemphasis on titles, like giving too much importance to titles. So I think these are the important points every leader or important people who are holding high positions should possess. Yeah, I think some of the fertile fields in new leadership, he gives majority of the politicians are nowadays corrupted and trying to burden the people. And second is bank, and he gives industry wise, like first politician, second banking, how a banking person should possess, what kind of qualities he should possess. Third is industrialist, how they should not exploit people, rather they should try to make their lives better. And religious leaders should not live in the past and try to not also think too much of the future, but try to be in the present and contribute. And fifth is the for the law and medicine people, and how they should contribute. And sixth is new leaders of journalism. And other part is that what kind of media agencies, how they should how they should actually use the medium to influence the larger masses rather than to corrupt them. And yeah, and these are the this is where you joined, I guess, like
Yes. Resume
resume.
is must for effective resume.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes,
fine.
yes. So I think you should, we will continue tomorrow. I think tomorrow there are some very important topics, I guess, 30 major causes of failure and etc. etc. So thank you guys. We'll continue tomorrow from this, the capital value of your service. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Good
Yes.
Take
night.
care. Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.